This is the Revved Up Sports Show with Bobby Chaffee.
We do have this nice little format that we try to follow every week. We don't usually follow it.
And Rodney Rodriguez.
Entertain me. Tell me something. I need to know something other than what I'm seeing.
Y'all ready? Here we go. Here's Bobby and Rodney.
Hello, friends. It is time to go. It is hashtag Real Race Talk from Texas. It's cold. It's chilly. You're not wearing sleeves, dude.
Well, hell, I ain't outside.
Well, I'm not either, but I mean, look at me over here.
I got no reason to wear sleeves when I ain't outside.
I'm cold, dude. You want to cuddle?
It's because you're old. That's what that thin blood you got. That's what's going on over there.
That's what I was going to bring up. I was going to say, does it really seem like the older we get, it gets colder and hotter? It seems like to me.
Colder and hotter? I mean, I guess it'd be one way or the other.
Yeah, when it's hot, it's like, man, I can't stop sweating, whatever. But damn, I don't know, dude. It's been really cold to me, but of course it could be that I stood on a podium at Mobile International Speedway on Saturday for like 6 hours and froze my ass off. I mean, that could be part of it.
That's definitely part of it.
Yeah. Hey, good show coming up. 6:45. Phil Whipple's going to check in as we have our touring Revved Up Sports Show Race on Texas Driver of the Year. And then later on, we're going to talk to Ryan Kuhn about 7:40. In between there, we're going to talk to the Driver of the Year on the touring side. So good stuff coming up right there.
You know what we forgot to do?
What's that?
We forgot to get Owen on to talk about the Clash.
Well, you never know. We have some time in there. We may be able to get a call in there and see if he could check in. I
mean, I can only do so much promoting the Clash.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, maybe we'll see if we might be able to get him to jump on here and talk about that, because that is going to be huge. That is what is that? 5K to win.
They just posted the updated.
Updated. Nice. All right.
Updated purse about 55 minutes ago.
Yep. What's it look like?
I got to pull it up. Hold on. Let me get to it.
All right.
Working on the fly here.
It's coming. It's coming. He might be at HEB. Adam 12 checks in. He might be at HEB. That's where he was the last time. He was going to get prescriptions, I think, the last time, and probably some fajitas and all that good stuff and whatever. But, Bobby, while you look at that, I do want to tell our dirt track promoter friends, you all have the bar has been set very high for you guys, because did you see at Sonoya Raceway, you had the Peach State Classic coming in.
The tarps, the helicopter, everything.
Did you see that? You guys around Texas, when you're like, oh, hell, we might not be able to race this week. I'm going to be the one posting. Well, put some tarps down. Get a helicopter. Get all that done, and you'll be just fine. Nothing to it. Do it like Bubba Pollard.
That's crazy.
And it worked. I mean, it worked. Did you see the helicopter when it came in?
That was crazy. Buzzing right there by the top of the dirt and all that.
Unbelievable. And when they came in and they started laying the tarps down, I'm like, there's no way in hell that's going to work. But, it took care of business. I mean, it took care of everything that it was supposed to do. And, well done. Well done, Bubba Pollard. We'll have to get him back on here and talk about that.
They did. They worked their ass off on that.
Yeah, they did. You Texas promoters, you got to work harder. Work harder and smarter. That was smart.
Yeah,
I never saw Bubba Pollard out there laying a tarp down.
Well, I mean,
or maybe he was. I mean, I don't know. He probably had his wife out there. I don't know what he was doing. Wife and sister. But anyway, so what'd you find? I know that it's 5K to win. I have it somewhere.
It's 5K to win factory stock.
And all this wreck that I have, yeah.
2K for second, 1K for third, 900 for fourth, 800 for fifth, 600, 500, 400, and 350 from 6th to 9th. And then 10th to 24th pays 300 to start.
And that's in the factories?
That's in the factories.
Yeah. And then the limited modifieds, it's $2K to win.
Yep.
$2K to win there. So that's good.
$2K to win, $1K for second, $6K or $600 for third, and then $500, $400, $300, then $250, down to $225 for eighth, and then it's $150 from 10th to 24th for the limited modifieds to start. And
I do want to say I saw a lot of people on social media as I was in Mobile, just kind of checking in with everything happening back at home, because for Houston having a dirt race and a pavement race at the same time. By the way, congratulations, John Heil, winning 2 of those. The one thing that I noticed, there were a bunch of people bitching about 105. It's taking forever.
Well, they ran a 2-day show in one day.
Thank you.
I mean, they started at noon.
Thank you.
It was like I get it was a long-ass day at the races at 105, but damn.
And it's like...
They tried. After Halloween, they definitely tried to get that show in.
And you get all these tracks that have a one-day show, and they still can't get their shit in one sock. But that was a 2-day show that they were trying to do. And the whole thing is, I saw that on Saturday. So get this, like he said, Friday and Saturday into one day, 58 races.
Yeah, on dirt.
58 races. 14 limited modified races. 13 factory stock races. I don't know what time they got done. And I was looking.
It was late. It was like a late night at Heart of Texas Speedway.
I'm sure it was. But the whole thing was, I looked at one point and somebody was saying, well, why the hell are they taking an intermission? I'm like, well, I would venture to say that the people that are working at the track that have been out there busting their ass for about 10 hours probably want to go have a drink of water. They might want to go take a piss. Come on.
Yeah, it was.
What do you want?
I mean, it was. I saw the same stuff on social media. It was kind of like, come on, man. You cut the track a little slack. I mean, they could have just as easily just said, what, screw it. Forget all that money we had from sponsors and everybody else on Friday, and we'll just give it back. Mm-hmm. Ain't no track going to say that. They're going to try to get in all that money and try to get in there and make it work.
Well, I mean, some tracks may, depending how that money is promised or agreed upon. I mean, if that could have gone back into the racetrack, and that was 77, like, what is it? 77.5.
77,000, yeah, 77K.
Was all the money that was guaranteed into that. And that's a whole thing. It's like, I mean, you go to these races, you go to these shows, and it's like with the Clash. I mean, if you're going to go to the Clash with everything that they have in line right there with that, and it's like $1,000 to win for the pure stocks. I mean, if you're going to go there, if you're going to go to that show, you better be prepared to be there. And hell, I'm
working the race and I'm still getting geared up to be there.
Dude, that's where I get so frustrated, because it's like people bitching and moaning about wanting to be there all the time. And it's like, it's the same thing with the pavement. It's the same thing on pavement, because when we've done races in the past, with Gulf Coast or Texas Short Track Racing Series, whatever you want to call it, and for whatever reason we can't do Friday, and it's like, okay, so are we going to open the racetrack early at 7 so we can practice? I'm like, you said you don't want to be at the racetrack all day and all night, but yet you want to go spend all day and all night at the racetrack. I mean, figure out what do you want here? What do you want?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got to make up their mind.
Yeah, and then you want to complain about gas is expensive and all that. Well, okay, don't go Friday. Don't go Friday. With this 105 thing, they did them a favor. They told them way in advance, you don't have to go Friday. Don't show up Friday.
Yeah, I mean,
show up at noon.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. Big Mike McCarthy checks in. Yes. February 11th, you've got the Enduro happening over at Heart of Texas, and that's
is that Frostbuster or whatever?
Yeah,
they used to do that on Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, and that's a whole thing right there. I mean, when we talk about off seasons, we got the Clash, we've got South Texas, with their race coming up as well in December. Snowball, I mean, all that's happening, which we can talk about later. But I mean, it's right around the corner. I mean, take a deep breath and get ready to go. But that really was the frustrating thing for me with the whole 105 thing. I mean, I kept seeing people, well, it's too slow.
Yeah, the track, they're taking too long.
You come do it.
People just don't know, dude.
I know they don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know they don't know, and that. Anyway, hey, I do want to wish before we go deeper, before Phil Whipple checks in, we got to wish one of our good friends on this show and one of our great asphalt competitors happy birthday to the great Augie Grill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, today, and that's a man right there. And I've kind of noticed with him as we start talking about snowball stuff, he been getting racy lately.
In that mac and cheese car.
It seems like, yeah, since he's got all his customers that he has to take care of, but he seems to be getting after it again, and that's good. And that's good for Augie because that's a great talent, and that's a bad dude right there. That's a bad dude. That's one of the first guys we met when we started going to the Gulf Coast, and super nice. Been on this show a couple of times, and yeah, happy birthday, Augie. Go celebrate while you have time.
Yeah, and Tommy Temple's birthday was just a couple of days ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was. About turning a big 5-0. I got to remember that on Saturday.
Party's over.
When I see him.
It's all over.
Remind him of his birthday and get people to,
It's all over, Tommy.
My goal is to try to get somebody to have Tommy sign an autograph so he can feel like he did 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good thing. There we go. I think we're getting folks checking in right there. I can't see it from where I'm at. You may be able to see it better on your side, but I thought 105 did an awesome job with the and that's the whole thing. With the circumstances, and that's that seems to be what folks refuse to think about is when these things happen. I mean, it's like boom, right to the negative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come on. I mean, would you, like you said, would you have rather that they just said, nope, not doing it,
screw Friday, not doing it,
not going to do anything, and for them to pull that off, that and there's a lot of cars in there. There were a lot of cars in there. And I mean, that's what you want, and that's what you want.
That's the problem. But you're not going to win either way, though. If you cancel it, everybody's going to bitch. Why'd you cancel it? And then if you do it, then everybody's going to bitch about it taking too long. It's like that's the one thing we talk to every single promoter. They're always damned if they do, damned if they don't, regardless of what position you're put in. It sucks so damn bad for the state of racing that racers can be such assholes about it.
Well, and I think one of the things, and I know for us in Alabama, and I don't know so much about what was going on in Houston, but we had folks that, dude, in Alabama, at Mobile, I roll into Mobile, and it was not supposed to rain. I get there, I get there at 10 o'clock, whatever it is. It's raining, it's cold. It was 10 degrees colder than it was supposed to be. And you had all the moisture in the air, and it was fucking cold that day. And we had people showing up, and never once did I hear, it's too cold. I mean, that's one of those things. If it's cold, don't go.
Or if you know it's cold and go, don't bitch about it being cold.
And if in the case of 105, if you know that you're trying that you are trying to put 2 nights of fullness of all this, if you're trying to put 2 nights into one, and they say we're racing at noon, and you're worried about being cold and it might run late, don't go.
Don't go.
It's going to be on the race on Texas. Watch it there. I mean, with HMP, I haven't really gone back and watched a whole lot of that. I mean, we've
seen the truck highlights. That's the highlight of the night.
That's about all I saw. They were like running over each other, but I mean, we did that in Mobile too. So that's just kind of the way it works. But the whole thing with that, and that's where for the promoter, it's really bad. And I'm going to look at this at 105 with Mobile and with Houston. Everybody's racing on this one night. And it's like it didn't matter where you were, Cleveland, Houston, Lake Houston Boulevard, Irvington, Alabama. The weather sucked all the way around. And I can tell you for us at Mobile, man, there were a lot of, all things considered, there were a lot of people there for that. I was like, go home. Don't stay for this. You're stupid. Go home. They wouldn't leave.
Diehard fans in Alabama. Was there an Alabama game on that night, though?
It was over early.
Yeah, that's why.
But
if they had to go head-to-head, if that Ole Miss Alabama game was at night, y'all stands would have been empty.
Here's a tip for Texas racetracks. Do what we do over there. We show the football game on early in the day. The Alabama game was on all day at the racetrack. Didn't matter what time you got there, it was on while it was on. I mean, in 2 places, in the infield and in the bar.
Oh, well, that's
in
good.
the warm bar at that.
No excuses.
Do that. Go find it. Well, no, never mind. I'm not going to give out any more secrets. But don't beat the racetrack up. And I mean that really was. I mean, it pissed me off because if I was 105 and we talked to them last week, and the whole thing is they were so fired up about them about this being their biggest show, and you build your whole year around your big show.
Mm-hmm.
And the bad thing is when it comes to all these racetracks, I mean, even with what John and them were doing in Houston, this was going to be their big show and the weather sucked. And I know the front gate. I don't know the attendance. I don't know what they sold in concessions, but I guarantee you it wasn't what they had planned to sell if the weather had been better.
Yeah, no, not even a chance.
No.
But that's the problem you fight with going head-to-head against college football, especially in this state.
Well, and I don't think it's so much that. I mean, because you're going to have the hardcore. You're going to have the hardcore college football fans. I think for Houston, I know the one night that I was there, the one night that I was or the second night that I was there, our crowd count was hurt because the Astros were in that 18 or 22 or whatever inning game, 18 inning game.
18,
against,
the double up.
Seattle. That right there hurt us. I think to me, honestly, the biggest detractor for me with Texas racetracks is high school football, because with college football you can keep up. I mean, whether it's the Score app or pulling up your DirecTV or whatever,
yeah,
you can keep up.
You can watch it if you want to.
Right. You can still be a part of that. But the high school is the one I think that hurts in Texas. But
well, that's only on Friday nights for a while.
Right. But
and Heart of Texas is done. Who else runs on Friday night? Boyd runs on Friday night.
Kennedale? No.
Kennedale's on Saturday.
Saturday. But I mean, the whole thing is, I mean, it all comes down to like with the weather. There's no way you're going to win. There is no way you're going to win because. That's where it's different now, Bobby, because back in the old days of Speedorama and San Antonio and back when you and I would go watch the races, if it was cold,
you'd still go.
You still go.
You just bought a jacket.
Right. And you bundled up and you layered up. But I mean, now it's like, okay, I'm going to check Racing America or Race on Texas or Flow Sports. I don't have to go.
Except for that one TIDA race in Corpus where it started snowing.
Oh my God!
Remember that one? We walked into a cat. It started getting cold. We walked into the mall, came out of the mall, and it was snowing, and we were in shorts and t-shirts and sandals.
I know.
That was a cold ass race.
Yeah.
That was when Slick just smoked their ass all night long.
Yeah, I think that might have been 1994, 93, something like
93,
that.
94, something right in there.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was stupid. And that's the whole thing, like I was talking about with Mobile. When I had looked at the forecast for Irvington, not Mobile, looked at Irvington, it was going to be cold, no wind, no rain, no nothing. I land, we have 20 mile per hour wind, constant rain, and it was cold. I froze my ass off.
How'd you land in that little puddle jumper? How'd that thing
No,
land?
it was bigger. It was one of those United bigger ones.
Oh, not the little 3-seater like we flew in that time?
Oh, hell no. I've advanced, my man. They hooked me up. I'm better off. I'm in a better place, you know. So anyway, all right. Enough about that. We'll get more to that later on. Let's go to the Revved Up Sports Show hotline, the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline, for the first time tonight. We have already crowned the 2022 Local Driver of the Year, which was Jared Maupin, much deserved. And the man that works on these committees and does all this stuff, like he's got the bingo balls going and dealing with all the personalities that we have to try to do this stuff. It is our man from the north. It is Phil Whipple. Phil, we're over here bitching about 49 degrees. How cold is it where you are, my man?
Well, good evening, Mr. Rodriguez, Mr. Chaffee, and good evening, everyone. It's a flat 30 degrees here in central Maine this evening with a stiff north wind, and it got up to 37 today.
What?
We were really spoiled Thursday through Saturday here, recent with upper 60s, low 70s, way above normal. We really had a nice spell. Only, mister, it snapped back to reality today because, as I said, topped out at 37. It's 30 now. We're headed to about 18 or 19 by morning, and we have the first significant snowstorm of the season coming here on Wednesday with plowable snow very, very close to where I live here in central Maine. So, yeah, bet your way you wanted a little breeze and in the 40s, but that ain't too bad, really.
Well, so Phil, is that typical for Maine this early in the year for snow? Is that I know when I went to Wyoming earlier in the year, they're like, yeah, it starts snowing here, December, whatever the case is. Is that normal or is that early? I mean, I know things have changed a lot, so give us a 101 on 101 on weather over there.
It's not particularly early, really. Growing up in northeastern Vermont, we always had snow on the ground to stay by the second week of November when our white-tailed deer season started. Anyway, I always remember snow on the ground when we went to hunting camp up in the Northeast Kingdom, and here in central Maine, particularly north of Route 2 in that corridor where Newry and Andover and up toward Rangeley and certainly Jackman and Millinocket and Greenville, their snow typically all went along ass high to an 11-foot Indian up there, dude. And it starts right around. Quite typically, they have plowable snow right before Thanksgiving, and it stays. And so that's just kind of average for the North Country. That's, remember, part of the Appalachian Trail that's called the 100-Mile Woods, where you can go through literally 100 miles of the AT and not see a soul and just a couple little dirt road crossings. That's right here in western Maine, and so in the Mahoosic Range, in fact. And so fairly rural, high-elevation territory, as you could imagine.
Sounds like heaven.
Do you hear banjos when you get that far deep into the dark roads?
Yes, ding, 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 ding. Yes, you do hear a little bit of that deliberate sound when you get in the background. But Rodney, thanks so much for setting me up, brother, on this one, because I agree with you. Mr. Maupin was a fabulous, very, very deserving, recipient for our weekly deal this year. And boy, we got a really, really good one for our touring series as well. Would you mind if I jump into my short prepared spiel, Mr. Rodriguez?
Have at it, my friend. Have at it, my man.
Wonderful. Thank you, both you gentlemen, for the opportunity to recognize an outstanding effort by a Texas native in the World of Touring Series competition again this year. This year's recipient hails from a town known for producing some very talented racers. Active in this sport for years, this modified pilot has put together one heck of a season in 2022. In 45 starts, he earned 10 wins, 22 top 5, and 26 top 10 finishes against the best drivers throughout the Deep South and the Southern Plains. This year's recipient captured the American Racer Modified Series Point Championship with 3 wins and 8 top 5 finishes in 9 starts on that tour alone. Obviously, he did a lot of other non-sanctioned racing as well this year to compile those numbers. But now on the Arms Series, their final 2 points races, as you know, were lost. I was kind of waiting until beyond that finale, but those 2 points finales for those series were lost to rain on a Friday night and then serious impacts from a tornado in the nearby town of Paris, Texas. Oh, wow. I got to commend Mr. Sester for what he did to help first responders as they dealt with that awful tornado in a nearby town there. It kind of sucks they lost that whole Arms Championship finale, and that was Bryce's last weekend with Arms, and I felt bummed that they didn't get that in, but they didn't. Regardless, this gentleman was crowned the champion, and again, very, very deserving. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to announce this year's recipient of our Texas Short Track Driver of the Year Award for Touring Series drivers, Mr. Chris Hennigan of Marshall, Texas. There we go. There's that old rockin' sound. There it is, Mr. Chris Hennigan of Marshall, Texas. His media skills are also top-notch, I'd like to say, which also factors into this annual award. So again, gentlemen, a hearty congratulations to Chris Winnigan Hennigan, our 2022 Texas Short Track Touring Series Driver of the Year. Thank you again so much, guys, for allowing me a chance to recognize another deserving racer. I just think this is so critical. We do this every single year from now on, as long as we can draw a breath. It's so important to recognize the effort these guys put forth. And now, unless you have further questions of this old hootnik, I'll await the call-in from this year's recipient, who I know is patiently waiting to discuss his season. So again, guys, really nice to be able to do this. I'll thank Chris David publicly, since I know we're live on his company's Facebook page. I'll thank Chris for getting behind this thing again a few years back with the promoter and the Driver of the Year awards, and you as well, Rodney, for jumping on and supporting this deal, because I still think it's as critical now as when I proposed it, and I hope we can continue to do this for many years to come.
Hey, Phil, before we cut you loose or you leave us for the evening, how much harder does it get every year to pick this Racer of the Year? It seems like every year, there for a while, there was 1 or 2 guys that just stood out, and you're like, that's the guy, right? Without a doubt, that's the guy. But last year, this year, between the local driver and the Touring Series driver, there was a hell of a lot of competition to choose from. I can only imagine how much fun you guys had trying to debate who was going to be number one for this deal.
It's a challenge. I think each year, that's a good point, Bobby. Each year it's going to get a little harder because there are sometimes not just one guy that's really like, you don't always have a Rodney Sanders. You won't always have a Jared Moffitt. You won't always have, remember,
Right.
when Kenseth won the last actual Winston Cup of 2003, he did it when you actually had to be real good for all 36 races.
That's
You
right.
beat them by over 400 points. That initiated the change, by the way. The next year was the first year with Nextel and the chase and all that shit because they hated the fact somebody dominated all 36 races. It was awful, right? That deal. So I just think, when a guy's real good all season long, it's nice to recognize him. And it's tough, buddy. It is tough to answer your question. It's going to get harder each and every year. But we'll do it, even if there's a half dozen guys that had a real good year. We'll look at those media skills. There's usually a couple of them that speak a little better than the others, and there's some that are just shy as hell, and there's some that say, well, I didn't race much. They don't have much of an attitude. It's hard to get words out of them, like that Heil fella, for example. Races like a son of a try to get a decent interview out of the man is quite a challenge. I know I've done it personally, but no, I kid John because I love him. He's a heck of a guy and a heck of a racer. I was delighted to cover his activities in Houston the other night. It was nuts, but no, that's a great question, Bobby. It will be a challenge in years to come, but there'll always be somebody in weekly and touring that we'll select. And I suspect we'll kind of bounce around some too with this thing being the boys because it's only fair. You can't keep giving these things to the same people year after year. And if you look deep enough, there's always an individual who rises above with a combination of factors. You're always got somebody that was up against a little tougher competition than the other guy, or he speaks a little better, or he made a little bigger effort, or he bounced back from a shithole year the year before. There's a number of factors you have to look at. And, I got to tell you, Max Eddie Thomas, Corey Neal Jr., a lot of guys we looked at in this thing had some tremendous years. Bo Begnot, there's some young talent in Touring Series racing around Texas, Louisiana, but boy, those boys are going to get this award in years to come. I can guarantee you. There's some hot young guys coming up through now, and I'm lucky enough to be the one to keep an eye on them and keep track of their numbers and stuff, and the promoters too. Keep making little notes to myself and recognizing these people for the efforts they put forth, and just something I take great pleasure and pride in doing, Bobby.
Right on.
Hey, how did you describe the Heil bump and run there on Colt James? I didn't get a chance to read your article yet, but I'm just curious how you described that little bump and run. Seemed a little extracurricular, but how did you see it?
He moved him.
I think having been exposed to Mr. Heil since 2019 when he had a little foray into the Texas Dirt Truck Series with which I was involved, I sort of know what Mr. Heil's MO is about, and so I listed that as his signature bump and run move. I didn't say he shoved him. I didn't say he dumped him. I didn't call him aggressive, which the man always is. I mean, he's up on the wheel. He's interested in getting trophies and first place checks. He doesn't go there to be a dub and be second. Heil's out to win, whether he's driving for Polaro or a chassis he made or whatever. Which I should have wrote what a good fabricator and builder he is too, because really Heil is like a total package. He can race, he can build, he can do everything. Now, is he the most friendly, easygoing personality? Not really. But he doesn't go to the track. I don't think John Heil goes to the track to make friends. Goes to the track to win races, and he's very, very good at it. So that's how I described it, his signature bump and run, but he didn't stuff him in the wall. He let him know he was there, though, I think.
Yeah. The funny thing is, Phil, John Heil and I, we bullshit for hours. I don't understand the deal here. So anyway, no, that's good stuff, and that was a good weekend there for John. But dude, thank you so much for doing this, and great job with the pick right there with Hennigan. He that's a bad son of a gun right there.
Yeah, he really is. But I'm glad you agree, and you're very, very welcome again, guys. Thanks for this opportunity. You've got another call and a wonderful guest from the Northeast coming in here, so I'll politely bow out. I hope one more time before the calendar year is done, I can have a chance to visit with you guys. I made a bunch of observations. Yeah. We had quite a season here in Texas throughout the year. We started strong. We looked pretty weak. Car counts dropped off in the second half of the summer. It really dropped off. Bobby, I think, can agree because he was there seeing some of that personally, down country in the southern part of the state. And then we were finishing off very strong again with over 200 cars at 105 at the Texas Grand, and a lot of other fall classics were loaded with cars. And so we're finishing on a strong note, but there were challenges this year. There's a bunch of topics that we can kind of discuss as we do an overall wrap-up of 2022 and across Texas this year. And then it's always fun to kind of do the Nostradamus thing and then wonder what we're all going to be looking forward to 2023. But with that, I'll thank you again for this opportunity and hope that we can do that at a later date.
Amen. Amen. We'll do that very, very soon, right around the holidays, Phil. Thank you so much, my man. And we look forward to talking soon. And take care, brother. Stay warm. Stay warm up there.
Yes, I'm going to go put a couple more logs on the wood stove right now, gentlemen. Again, thanks so very much, and we'll talk to you again later.
You got it. Take
See
care,
you, Phil.
brother. Take care, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Bob.
You bet. I love when he calls in. I love his euphemisms. Is that what that would be called, or whatever they are? When he starts talking about that, I'm like,
his are crazier than mine sometimes.
yeah, those are really good. And like you said, I mean, Chris Hennigan. I mean that right there. And the thing is, what Phil does do is he does send me. He's like, here's who I'm thinking about, and he sends me all this stuff. And I'm like, looks good to me. and it's one of those things to me where it is, with us doing the show and between announcing it, races and the other stuff that we do, when I see stuff, I'm like, that's great. I just, I don't want to have an opinion, even though that I do want to have an opinion. The hardest part for me is to just back away from that, because and the good thing about it is what here's the best part about this. When Phil set this up, whether it was short track promoter of the year, local driver of the year, or touring driver of the year, he's like, he told me, then he told you guys have nothing to do with this.
Yep.
I mean, because you guys see it all, and again, it's
especially the promoter one.
Well,
we didn't want to be part of that one. We'd rather be the outlet that it gets displayed on and gets announced on than actually have to have a vote in that, because we know so many of them on a personal level.
And Phil, to me, Phil, because when the promoter one came up, I'm like, I'd love to have. I want to vote. I want to vote on this. And he was the one that told me, because I kept on. I'm like, well, yeah, let me have something to say. I mean, I like the way so-and-so does this and all this. The first year, I'm like, I like the way so-and-so. And he's like, Rodriguez, you got to remember one thing. There were 5 people on that list. He's like, 4 of these people pay you to work for them. Mm-hmm. Do you really want to have a vote? And I'm like,
you look at it like that.
I'm like, okay, I'm good. But I mean, I really like what he does right here, because what he does when he starts talking about the stats and all that, he sits there and crunches all that shit together. And with the promoter of the year and even with this, he's got people that are working with him that are totally biased or unbiased on this whole deal, to where it's like he feeds them the numbers and they're like, okay, this is what I think. Mm-hmm. And that's really the way to do that. And it's, I love that. And for Chris Hennigan to win that, looking at all that, I mean, if I would have had a vote, I mean, I'd have gone to him. I'd have gone to Memphis Villarreal. I know that was mentioned there as well. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with this vote at all.
Well, I mean, like we said, the competition gets harder and harder every year. A lot of guys are actually, now that the diesel's going back down just a tick, not that it's cheap still by no means, but it's not skyrocketing through the roof like it once was, kind of stabilized. You're starting to see more and more guys travel out and bring the race cars back out. So Phil's right about it being a little bit of low car count at some of these racetracks, but it's cyclical. We see it every year. The car counts can stay high and then they go low and then they come back high again, and then they just kind of make their way through it. So, well,
and one of the cool things that I really like about, once I started looking at all the numbers that Phil was putting together when he was compiling this list, was, he sent me the stuff over there with Hennigan. And again, this is in the modifieds. Which is one of those classes that we talk about here in Central Texas and South Texas, to where, maybe it's been one of the ones where it's a lower car count and they struggle for whatever. But Hennigan, he races against the best. And when he goes out and wins, 10 wins and all these top 5s and everything that he's doing, he's beating the best in the business. And when it comes to beating the best in the business on dirt, I know the factory stocks are a big deal, but when you go out and you compile that record in in one season, when you do that in the modifieds, you are beating the best, because there are a lot of guys that will not get out of the modifieds and, don't want to get a factory stock, or maybe they will, but they stay in the modified.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's the best of the best. No offense to anybody else. That's the best drivers right there.
That's the key, right? I mean, that's definitely the way that it works.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. I mean, it is. It's the cream of the crop. It all rises to the top, and super cool stuff right there. Great announcement there from Phil Whipple. And we're going back to the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline, because as that announcement was made, got a tap on the shoulder, and now the man knows that he is the Revved Up Sports Show Race on Texas 2022 Touring Driver of the Year. It is on the hotline, Chris Hennigan. My friend, how are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How y'all doing?
Man, we're doing well, man. We're doing well. So, first of all, congratulations on the award. I mean, I know, we're not handing you $10 million or Powerball winnings or nothing like that. But your thoughts because like we've been talking about, there is so much data that goes into this. And with the record that you have compiled in 2022, I mean, just talk about everything that you've accomplished this year.
It's, I don't know. It's just kind of, we had a good year, and that's all you can hope for, really. Every year you go into it. And, it's good to accomplish that much.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Chris, tell us about, we know that you had a standing year this year. Tell us how you got started in this crazy business that we're all addicted to now.
My grandpa and dad raced, so, growing up, you want to race and do stuff like them, and that's how I ended up doing it, and so it's pretty fun. Now I'm trying to get my kid into it, so it's it's, I guess, just like being competitive.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's the reason we do it. I mean, there's always that competitive part. So, Chris, let's talk about the modifieds, and that's one thing that I was just talking about right there. I mean, the record that you have compiled this year. 10 wins, 22 top fives, 26 top tens, and 45 starts. That's been against the best of the best. And while other guys want to go do factory stocks and do other stuff, and some of them are in both classes, but being the best of the modifieds, man, that is a tall order, and that's where you are right now.
Yeah, it's just the modifieds is what I've always done, and just like it. And they almost cut us out around in our area for the last probably 3 or 4 years.
Damn.
So we've had to kind of go out and race, and didn't get to race that much. And this year, Donnie Powers bought Architects and brought modifieds back in our area. So it helps out to get to race more.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Chris, what do you think was behind that cutback in the modifieds? We've talked about it before on the show, where it seemed like there was a dip in the car count. A lot of guys were either moving up to late models or going down to the factory stocks or over to the factory stocks. Not so much down, because they sometimes they cost the same. But it just seems like now it's the modifieds are kind of on an upswing, because you got a couple of guys that are moving up from the sport mods. And you got some guys that are kind of coming back in that were gone for a while across the state. So where's the modified field at for you? Obviously you're winning and doing really well against some of the best. But where is it from a racing side on where it's at right now?
I don't know what happened to it to start with around here, because when they cut the modifieds, we were having over 20 cars a night. So I don't understand where that kind of come from. And I think it's picking back up. There's more people in our area that's buying them, and so I think they're gaining the car counts back from where it fell off before. And I think in our area it's going to pick up pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt. So, Chris, let's talk about, obviously we're talking about you being the, touring driver of the year, with us and Race on Texas, but also, I mean, you're involved with a lot of other race team or a lot of other drivers and everything. Talk about the full team that I was looking on Facebook, and it's like, win again, hen again. I saw something where you had spun out one time, and they're like, spin again, hen again. Right? Everybody giving you shit all the time. But I mean, talk about all the other drivers that you support and help out there as you guys continue to race on.
Man, it's there's a lot of joking going on around here between drivers, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And like I helped Donnie Powers, he helps my racing, so I helped his. Like financial wise, he helps me, and I just help work on his car.
Nice.
And just everybody tries to work together and help each other out. And when we get to joking and carrying on with each other, I mean, it's pretty fun.
But that is the fun part of it, is camaraderie that you make over the years. It always seems like racing is a big family. Like if somebody breaks something and you got it in your trailer, you're gonna let them have it so they can race that night. How has the camaraderie always been that way for you around some of the guys you've been racing? You don't have to name any names or anything, but sometimes does it get a little cutthroat out there?
We've always been pretty good around our area. Most of us grew up with each other, like Billy Robertson and, BJ Robertson with Billy. They always, we would go eat and all kinds of stuff. I mean,
yeah,
it's always been kind of a family deal around here, even though we're not family.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anybody needs a part and I got it, they're more than welcome to it.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's what it's all about.
That's the best part. So, Hennigan, tell me, when it comes to these big modified shows, when you show up, I mean, like we talk about, I mean, there are so many guys that are floating in and out of the modifieds. When you go to a big modified show and you see some of the names that are showing up, I mean, who are some of the top guys or ladies that you race against? I mean, I know we got Billy Gold, we got all these people. Who are some of the other top competitors that you see that when you sign in, it's like, oh hell, here we go, it's on?
I mean, we ran with Kate Dillard some this year. Joe Duval, Tristan Dacus. Like there's a bunch of them. There's a list of names.
Yeah.
I feel like when we show up, there's anybody in the pits that can win. And you do the best you can do and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
that's
no doubt.
So, Chris, are you one of those guys that you every night you're out in the shop sitting there tightening up bolts and all that, or are you one of those last minute racers where you come through and you're like, I need to do this and this and this on a Friday, and you're ready to go?
I'm a little bit of both. I got a lot of stuff I got to do for other people, so my racing program can go on. That's just, I got my son trying to race and helping Donnie, and just a lot of times both my kids play sports, so during the week we attend that stuff, and so I might be grooving tires at the track on a Friday or Saturday night, right before the races.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. So how hard does that get? I mean, when you're helping other people and then trying to race yourself, I mean, that's, we talk to a lot of asphalt folks where it's like, we're building cars for so-and-so, then we got to show up and do whatever. And some of our dirt track friends here in Texas, how hard is that? When you got customers and at the same time, hell, it's like, shit, I'm going to go racing too. That's a full plate.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little tiring.
Yeah, I bet.
You're kind of dragging when you get to the track, but at the end of the day, when they do good, it makes you feel like proud that you helped somebody. So, and at the end of the day, you kind of get rewarded when they run good or do something good. And so, I mean, it works out. It's sometimes it's tiring, but it's part of it.
Yeah, no doubt. Good stuff, my friend. Congratulations on winning our 2022 Revved Up Sports Show Race on Texas Touring Driver of the Year, the pride of Marshall, Texas. Where's Marshall? Where is Marshall exactly?
It's a little bit of west of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh hell!
Yeah, we're right on the Louisiana kind of line, Texas line.
Yeah. Good stuff. So what's left for the year? Are you done, or are you going to do some off-season big shows, or if there are any? And what's up next?
I think there's a Thanksgiving race at Big O Speedway at 2,500.
That's right.
I think we're going to go to it, and then we're going to get some new cars and get ready for next year, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Might as well. It never stops. It's time to get going for the next time around, my friend. Congratulations, sir. Thank you for taking the time and jumping on here after the award presentation. We will get that to you courtesy of our man Owen Pittman at 317 Awards. So well done, my friend, and thanks for checking in.
All right, thanks.
You bet. Take care.
All right,
there he is. Yeah, man. Racer. That's a racer.
Mm-hmm.
Racer. All there is to it. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. And I'm glad that went to a modified racer, to be honest with you. I know we got factory guys and limited guys that are doing really good things, but the fact that you still have a modified racer that can rack off 10 wins, 23 top fives, and 26 top 10s in loaded fields, because that's the other part that I looked at when Phil sent me that over, that he was going to be the recipient. He's like, here's what he's been doing. And I'm like, well, shit, that's really good.
Yeah,
that's
against
really
that
good.
competition, picking up those
Yeah.
those wins against those guys, that's a lot.
Yeah. Totally like that. And the best part of that for me, just a good dude.
Yeah, we could catch him busy tonight, running in and out of the truck.
Yeah. I heard the bell dinging a couple of times. Yeah. That's really cool stuff. Congratulations to Chris Hennigan, as he is our 2022 Revved Up Sports Show Touring Driver of the Year. More coming up later on. We talk to 2022 Pass Tour Series champion, Mr. Ryan Kuhn. That and more. # Real Race Talk from Texas. Stick around.
Have you heard about the latest and greatest technology being built around the DFW area? Generation Race Cars and JL Racing, located in Springtown, Texas, are now offering top-of-the-line, state-of-the-art Southern Sport mods and limited modifieds. Generation Race Cars and JL Racing can provide new cars, turnkey, complete bodies, shock revalving, and chassis updates, along with providing trackside setup guidance and a whole lot more. If you're looking at competing at a whole new level, call 817-528-2947 and ask for Justin today. You can contact them through the JL Racing Facebook page to learn more about Generation Race Cars. You put a ton of effort into your race program. Now take it to victory lane with GRC.
Hey everybody, Rodney Rodriguez for CRS Suspension. Are you ready to take your racing program into victory lane? Well, if you are, then it's time to call CRS Suspension, the industry leader in handling technology. CRS now solely owned by winning iStock and late model racer Jeffrey Abbey, whose knowledge can do big things for your oval track success. Give CRS Suspension and Fabrication a call today at 325-330-0647 and learn how you can get the shocks and technical guidance that will put you into the winner's circle. You either have CRS shocks under your car or you get outrun by those who do. Choose to win and call CRS Suspension today and follow them on Facebook at CRS Suspension Fabrication.
Hey guys, it's Phil Whipple here with Revved Up Sports and Race on Texas. I'd like to introduce you to our newest partner here on the show, and that's Wisconsin-based chassis builder Sniper Speed. Sniper Speed is a chassis builder for IMCA and USRA stock cars and a supplier of high-performance racing parts. Sniper Speed will also build street stocks and hobby stocks. Owner John Corshane has a reputation for excellence in this industry. If you're thinking about a new car for 2023, give their dealer in Texas, CRS Suspension and Fabrication, a call today. Owner Jeffrey Abbey can put put you into a winning race car. Again, that's Sniper Speed, home of the finest stock car chassis available on the market. Follow them on Facebook to see some of the beautiful race cars they're building right now.
Hey friends, Rodney Rodriguez for your neighborhood auto repair and service shop in Cedar Park and Central Texas. It's Computer Age Automotive. Does not matter, domestic, foreign, hybrid, whatever it is, your auto repair and service. Mr. Gilbert Simmental and his great staff there at Computer Age Automotive, they will be the answer to whatever your problem may be. They've been doing it for 35 years, so that tells you something right there. Check engine light diagnostic, computer reprogramming, computer flashing, computer calibration. Doesn't matter, even the diagnostic stuff. Body control systems, engine control systems, power and battery systems. They have the answer for you. ASE certified mechanics. You drive a diesel, they can take care of that for you as well. It's Computer Age Automotive, the Simmentals. Great folks. Hey, they're racing folks, so you know that they can get stuff done. Been doing it for 35 years and still going strong in good old Cedar Park, Texas. It's ComputerAgeAutomotive.com. Tell them you heard about it right here on the Revved Up Sports Show and Revved Up ATX.
Have you heard about the latest and greatest technology being built around the DFW area? Generation Race Cars and JL Racing, located in Springtown, Texas, are now offering top-of-the-line, state-of-the-art Southern Sport mods and limited modifieds. Generation Race Cars and JL Racing can provide new cars, turnkey, complete bodies, shock revalving, and chassis updates, along with providing trackside setup guidance and a whole lot more. If you're looking at competing at a whole new level, call 817-528-2947 and ask for Justin today. You can contact them through the JL Racing Facebook page to learn more about Generation Race Cars. You put a ton of effort into your race program. Now take it to victory lane with GRC.
Hashtag Real Race Talk from Texas. Chris win again, hit again, 2022. I like that right there.
And it's royalty free. Makes it better.
Well, it's supposed to be. 2022.
We'll find out.
Yeah, 2022 Revved Up Sports Show Race on Texas. Touring driver of the year with just an amazing, slate, resume, whatever you want to call it, that he has put together in the modifieds. And I really think it's a big thing, like we were talking about there, that it happens in the modifieds. Really cool stuff. But now we are into big race season. It is time to get after it.
It is. It's big money season. Actually had some big money races there. A couple of big shows there at I-37. Did a great show. Fortunately, Corpus got rained down last weekend, but they're actually having a big show there the Saturday night of Thanksgiving weekend. So if you're down there with family visiting, they got a big show, weather permitting, of course. And then, of course, they have the big Western Shootout down there at the race ranch the weekend after the Snowball Derby. So lots of big money races still to be had. And then, you got the little thing called the Clash coming up at Edna this weekend.
Yeah, you got the Clash, and that's going to be big. And I know that weather is maybe going to be a factor that's could factor into this. But I really think that this is something to where Owen and Cord and everyone there is, and sorry, Cord, I don't mean to mention you there as part of the thing there, but I think that's something that is you got to get this race in. You got to get this race in. I mean, because I think with all the money that's on the line, you can't reschedule this, and
there's nowhere to reschedule it. Really,
I mean, there really isn't, and I think the thing that's going to be the factor for Texana is to be able to get the race in. I mean, it may be cold, like we were talking about this past weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
Yeah, maybe it's cold, but I mean, get the people to show up and just hope for the best. And that's a bad part when you get into this time of the year, because it's like, well, I hope they'll show up. And I mean, that sucks. I mean, when you're the promoter, when you're the track operator, and you're hinging everything on the fact that maybe they'll show up, that's tough. That is real tough. So hopefully that's something that happens for the class, because I want Texana to finish off with a sprint, because they deserve it. I mean, because everything that they have done there, I'm just hoping that it all works out.
I'm double checking the forecast. It's not looking as good as it once did, but I'm sure Owen and them will do the best they can to get it all in there on Friday night and again on Saturday. So
yeah, well, I mean, we'll have to see what happens there, and that's a hard part. To me, what I've kind of figured out with dirt track racing, I mean, if you can avoid the downpour. Because that's the one thing. Every time I see a dirt track cancel, it's like it's canceled because it looks like a pond.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll be the case there, to where.
But it looks like the rain forecast is more towards the morning time, so they got a little bit of time to kind of work it out. Pits may not be very good, but it ain't supposed to rain a whole lot.
Well, and the other part is, I mean, let's see what happens before that. I mean, because it's the other part. I mean. People want to bitch at the promoter because it's like they can't race. They canceled on Friday. Well, the track is still saturated, even though that it's been wet. So I don't know, and that's a beauty of the show, because we are live, and we're sitting here talking about what the plan may be. We're going to the hotline, because the man that's going to be no pressure orchestrating all of this madness checks in right now, and it is my main man, Owen Pittman. So, Owen, what is your plan for what may or may not happen this weekend? By the way, how you doing?
I'm good, man, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
There it is, right there,
straight up.
Yep.
Get them tuned up, get them ready. Everybody got past the 24 hours of 105, and now we're ready to go racing through some class action. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, I agree.
So what's been the most asked question for you? I noticed that you ended up adding in a couple extra classes to the original card there. It just seems like everybody's trying to add their class and wants to be part of this big race coming up this weekend.
Yeah, we got asked by 2 or 3 more on top of that, but we have to draw the line somewhere. And those are the 2 that we ran the modifieds last year, added the pure stocks this year, and so the mod guys wanted to come back. And honestly, I had them on the schedule day one, but with the lower car counts this season in the mod class, we figured we would just leave them off, and then they all called and said, hold on, we want to come. So we've added them back. And the street stock guys, they've been begging us to come race a little bit, so we decided to add them too. I think we still fit it in, Brad Hockaday with Professional Motorsports Solutions, them guys, he puts on a show. He does a lot like me. We're full throttle all the time. Get it done as quick as we can. There's going to be no intermissions. There's going to be no potty breaks. It's be ready to go, and we're going to race until we're done, and hopefully it'll be a decent hour when we're done.
And I really think, and that's the one thing, because I've watched Brad run your show, and that's the thing that people need to be prepared for. It's like you need to be way ahead. I mean, you see the schedule, be 20 minutes ahead of that. I mean, just be ready to go. And I think for race fans, be prepared as well. Maybe there's going to be a hiccup there. Maybe I hope that I'm wrong. Maybe something starts late. I mean, if at all possible. But once you get going, we're hauling ass. I mean, it's all gas, no brakes. I mean, pardon that stupid ass pun, but it's time to go. When the program starts, we are racing.
Yes, that is 100% Brad. It's we're racing. We're not quick to throw cautions. We're quick to send you off the track in a heat race because you spun out and caused your own solo yellow flag. You're going to wind up in the pits. You know how we run the show. So and Brad runs it the exact same way I do. We're trying to be as efficient as we can, put on a quality show for the fans and the racers. And I think we get some respect out of that from the racers. We will push. It'll be nonstop push all night. Last year we had some guys miss their heat race, or 2 years ago, I think we had some guys miss their heat race. They're pretty unhappy with us. But it's at the end of the day, man, you got to be paying attention the whole night because it's race after race after race. And as you know, as soon as I'm getting them off out the back, they're already on the front and we're back to green flag on the first lap. It's nonstop. And it's not meant to push or hurry or rush or do the racers wrong. It's meant to put on a good show, and that's what we're there for, and how to, and I rarely get any racers complain about the speed of the show. They want to be done at a decent hour, and they want to race.
Mm-hmm.
They came to race, not sit and waste time under cautions, or have me blading the track, or have me rebuilding the concession stand, or running to the store to get more hot dogs.
More beer.
At the end of the day, we're there to race. Let's race.
Yeah, that's right.
So
the beer guy to get more beer. I don't do it.
Yeah. You never have that problem.
So
No.
go over the schedule real quick. You don't have to go over item by item, but it looks like we got a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night set up. So Thursday night's all qualifying, or is that on Friday night now?
No, it's Thursday nights. So the way we do it, and that's one of the most asked questions, honestly, is Thursday night. How's that affect us on Friday and Saturday? Well, Thursday night, the only thing qualifying is factory stocks. We've done this the last 3 years or 2 years, where we have qualifying, but it's basically 5 cars on the track. You get 5 laps. You go out, you make your 5 laps. If you're in the top 2, you get held in the infield. Everybody else goes in, adjust your car, and get back in line. We'll keep running them on and off for an hour, hour and a half there, whatever it has on the schedule, nonstop. As long as cars want to get up there in line, go in, adjust, and come back out, they have an opportunity to do so. So it's not just a single qualifying lap and I'm locked into something. This is to see who can set the fast time, basically as a practice session. And then at the end of that deal, they'll get some pay. There's pay for first and second, and there's a provisional for the main event. So it's guaranteed you're making $300 just to start the main event. You're getting a provisional. And the way I do the provisional is not just the fast or second fast time. Those will be the 2 make money. Those will be held for tech. But it'll go down the line. If the top 2 qualifiers make it into the show, well, 3rd place qualifier will get into the show, or 4th place, or 5th place, on down. I think last year's 5th or 6th place qualifier actually made it into on the provisional. So there is a provisional coming out of Thursday night. Everything else Thursday night's just practice. We start fresh Friday. We go and we draw. You say you draw from 1 to 100. You're going to run your heat races heads up off of the draw, 1 being pole for heat 1, 100 being way in the back. Heat 2, he basically takes and flip-flops that. 100 now is the number 1. The number 1 is the number 100, basically. So heat 2 is totally inverted on the numbers. See, doing it that way, you don't race with the exact same guy. It's not just taking heat 1 and inverting it. You race with a whole new set of guys, but you get a chance to start in the back and get passing points on one heat, and the front and get passing points or finish up front in the other heat, right? So 2 heats for each of those, and a full show with qualifying, which will set the heat race for late models, and then a late model feature that night. We'll run through all that Friday night. Saturday, we'll go into B mains, C mains, whatever it takes in the mains. We'll run some heats for our mod street stocks. Again, we'll qualify and run heats for our late models, and we'll run through a full show of A mains at the end of the deal.
Yeah. No, that's a great thing.
Yeah,
I
that's a lot of racing. I better bring my my good vibes coming to that one. That one's gonna be a lot of racing to call.
Yeah, take some throat lozenges for that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot, but that's gonna be fun though.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Oh, and talk about the money on the line this weekend. I mean, $5K for factories. I mean, just everything that's on the line right here. This and when you say that you're gonna run this race, I mean, we talk about $2K for limited late or limited modifieds. I mean, there's a lot that's going on right here. You're gonna have yourself a kick-ass show right here going on at Texana.
I hope so. We're excited about it. You know, the 5K to win we had last year, we had a great car count. You know, adding the late models this year, which we actually had late models last year. It was more of an open show. This year we got the crate show. And I tell you, we got Shane Hebert and Dean Abbey. And, I mean, lots of great drivers coming back, Brzezowski and Cody Hartage, and lots of great drivers. So super stoked about the late model deal, the crate, you know, all-star series coming on this deal. So super stoked about that. That put on a killer show at 37. It'll do the same here. These guys are outstanding racers. So you add that in with just a lot of Houston cars and really all over cars coming in with the limiteds and our huge factory stock turnout. It should be just a phenomenal show. 50,000 in purse money. You know, the big fear and what we're working right now is how do we get the butts in the seats to listen to you guys talk, or to Bobby talk, I should say, and then, you know, not freeze them out because the weather's just all over the board right now. You know, the weather is crazy. So Man, it's rained here all day in Corpus, and I'm over here pumping because I still have another show, regular show down here on top of the shootout in December. So a lot going on in the racing world right now. We're super busy, and just come off a big weekend in Houston over there on the asphalt, which was fun as well. So this show's going to be good. There's no doubt in my mind. Gord's dedicated. He called me today. We got online, and he's pumped up and ready to go. Some of the parking's going to be fun. The pits over there aren't the biggest pits in the world for the amount of cars we're going to have coming. We wind up usually parking them in the parking lot, but we got a plan. We're going to stack them and rack them, crack them, put them in there tight, and we're going to park all the big rigs in a certain area. You may not get to park right next to your best buddy in some instances, just because we're trying to fit everybody in there. So we're going to have some help out there just parking people. But we'll get them all in. I've gotten a lot of calls from Pure Stocks today that are coming. So I'm expecting a huge Pure Stock turnout, as well as, our other classes. And I like the Pure Stocks are getting an opportunity to be a feature-type class. They're running the 2 heats as well. They're going through the same thing that the other classes that get the huge respect are getting to do. So you get to feel like you're running, the same quality of show where you are. You're running the same quality of show that the classes that are considered above you are running. So, it should be a good show for them guys as well. I'm stoked about the Pure Stocks.
Yep.
Well, this should be fun. I have a funeral to go to Friday morning, but I'll be there Friday night and all day, most of the day Saturday. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a challenge with all the cars, but hell, that's what makes it fun. If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
Yeah, for sure. There ain't no doubt. The key is trying to figure out all them names and run all that mouth, and then I'll help you where I can. 37. I called the late model show, and I had fun doing that, and I bring sponsors and all that for that program. That's a little different bird, but excited. I was hoping Rodney was going to be there to relieve you every now and then when you got to go to the restroom, because I ain't stopping for you.
Yeah.
We don't want to see you using a bottle up there or nothing like that. But maybe we find some help to relieve people every now and then.
Holler at me if you need me. I've got a football game in Katy on Friday night, so I could be free. Let's talk if you need me. We'll figure.
Maybe we finally get Tommy Temple on the mic.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Just
negative. Tommy's Tommy don't need to be on the mic. That is too wild.
Let him do Facebook Live. That's his thing. Leave him on Facebook.
Yeah, this is a PG program, guys. This is PG. We want kids to come, and have a good time. And
that's right.
We got to keep her PG a little bit.
That's right.
That's true. That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yep. Holler at me, dude. I can help if needed. Dude, go get it, man. And best wishes. I know the weather's not going to be your best friend, but I know you're intent on pulling this out, my brother.
Absolutely. We're prepared. We're getting everything, all our ducks in a row to have a race this weekend. So don't give up on us because you're watching a Weather Channel tell you lies. Come ready to race.
That's right. All right, my man. We'll talk soon. Go get it, dude. We'll talk to you later on.
Be back at it. Talk to y'all later.
You bet. Bye. Later. Owen Pittman, that a man on a mission right there, and that's why I said with this one, they're going to ride this thing out. I mean, they're going to work this track, and that is the thing.
And Brad is going to run one hell of a show. He gets them in and off and out. And
man,
my biggest thing is hopefully I have enough time to hit everybody, at least get their names out before they drop the green. That's going to be.
I'll tell you what I like about Brad is the times that I've been at Texana when he's running that show. Is man, he doesn't mess around. I mean, it's like he's like rough.
Oh yeah. If you want to be entertaining, bring yourself a receiver, bring yourself bring yourself a radio, and we'll give you the frequency so you can listen to Brad on the radio.
And that's the whole thing. If you're a racer and you want to get in that car and be over there jacking around and doing whatever and get in the car and get your feelings hurt and whatever. This dude is going to call the race, and he's going to call your ass out. I mean, I was there
last year.
Yeah, last year. I was there last year, and a guy showed up that had been there for 2 hours. 2 hours. Had not registered his transponder, had not done anything. He comes strolling up in there, an hour before the races, and Brad's like, what? I mean, he laid into this guy, and again, I mean, that's another part of the racing problem that we have to where it's like, be responsible.
That's right.
This dude lit into his ass. And I'm like, oh, man, I like this dude. I like
Brad, he puts on an efficient show. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. So that's coming up, the Clash at Texana this weekend. That's in Edna, TexanaRaceway.com, I think it is. Texana Raceway Park on Facebook. Let's go back to the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline for the final time tonight. We got a champ. We got one of our dudes. We've talked to him before on this program, and that's where we say when you come on this Texas show, you come on here and great things happen because we have guys that come on here. They win championships. They win races. I mean, all this stuff happens. Here's another great example. 2022 Pass Tour Series champion. It is my man, Ryan Kuhn. Ryan, how we doing, sir?
How are you guys?
Man, we're doing well. I would tell you we are cold, but I bet you're probably a hell of a lot colder where you are than we are.
Yeah, today especially was freezing. It was cold.
Ah, nice.
We're complaining about 40-degree low temperatures, so you can make fun of us. You can make fun of us all you want. The Texans, we don't handle the cold real well because we ain't real good with the heat either when it's 115 degrees in the shade. So
yeah, it's only about. It was about in the 30s today, about all day. It was a good day.
That's great. That's totally great. So, I mean, talk about it, dude. I mean, with all the guys that you race with out there, I mean, we can talk about, Eddie Mack and DJ Shaw. I mean, all these guys. For you to win that 2022 championship, how cool is that for you, dude? That you beat the best of the best. That is kick-ass stuff.
Yeah, it was a huge feat for our team, especially not even going into the season, going for the points. And about 5 races in, we said, we got a shot at this thing. Let's do the whole thing. And everyone put in their best effort, and it really paid off at the end of the season. Just really staying consistent the second half of the year was really what it came down to go down and win a championship, which I'm so proud of my team, proud of my guys.
That's awesome.
We all worked so hard, and all the hard work finally paid off.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ryan, I think that the one thing that people don't understand about trying to run for titles is it's not always about the wins, right? The wins are cool and they pay off with the big payoff and the money and stuff like that. But it's the consistency that you got a chance to win a championship. You had 14 top 10s there throughout the year and 7 top 5s. I don't think that it goes unnoticed that the consistency, especially with those top 5s, is what wins championships for you. Talk about the way, but did you have to change your program or your driving style to get that consistency, or is it just something that throughout the season, this is just that magical year in 2022 where it all kind of fell together for you?
I mean, yeah, the start of the year didn't go as planned. We struggled with the car just a little bit and really hit on something the second half of the year, and we were just so insanely consistent, finishing basically inside the top 5 for the last, a bunch of races. And, those occasional 8th or 9th place finishes just because of luck. But early in the season, we weren't really consistent at all. We, unfortunately, we blew a tire at Stafford, killed our car. But that set us back, but it didn't stop us. But we stayed really consistent the second half of the year, found something with the car, and was able to knock off a ton of top 5 finishes.
Yeah, and I mean that consistency, like you said, I mean that's the main thing. Talk about the grind of a championship. I mean, it's one thing you go out, you win a race, but I mean it's so hard to. I've been in spots before where I've been in a championship hunt, and it's like you want to put the points in the back of your mind because it's all about the race at hand. How hard is that for you, especially with that tour, to balance all of that? Let's go race, but at the same time, let's watch the points.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy. You always had to play it really, really smart. You just couldn't be over aggressive and potentially cost yourself some points. That's what it really came down to. There's times you definitely want to be aggressive, but there's times where you rethink. You're like, I got to rethink points. Got to rethink points, and that's what it really comes down to. You just got to keep that in the back of your head. Points are at stake. You can't do anything dumb, and just keep it consistent. Just finish solid. And I know we had a really good car the last about 8 races, and I knew we could run top 5 everywhere we went at that point.
Yeah.
So Ryan, you won by 21 points. How many positions is that on a racetrack?
That is 10.5.
Throughout the course of a season, that's incredible, man. That's good. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And isn't that? I mean, seriously, isn't that the coolest part? I mean, to beat those guys, and that's one of those things that no matter what you do the rest of your career, I mean, you can go back and no matter what you do, I mean, bigger and better things. How special is it going to be that you went out there and you win over Eddie McDonald and you win over all these guys? How sweet is that for you and your team to pull that off when folks you were maybe floating under the radar, but boom, here you are. You're the champ.
Yeah, I mean, I knew we could do it as a team if we worked hard enough, and I feel like we did our jobs all year long. I used to watch Eddie Mack as a kid, and it was definitely one guy I looked up to, and but had really good races with him all year. He's been good to us all season. Same with Gabe. Gabe's been really good to us all season, and basically all the competitors, they all kept it clean, and that's what I like about Pass. A lot of them guys are really, really clean and race you good, and basically race you how you want to get raced. And it was really, really good season.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I first started racing, I didn't get to necessarily race the guys that I watched growing up, but those guys were helping work on my car a little bit. And that surreal feeling when you get to hang out with your childhood heroes from the racetrack is got to be a really cool deal to race with Eddie Mack and them after watching them race all those years, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's really cool, especially racing against like Johnny Clark as well. And
Johnny
Ben
Clark,
Rowe and all the guys I grew up watching. I attended my first Oxford 250 when I was 13.
Damn.
In 2014 was the first time I attended the 250 and watched all them guys battle it out. I can't remember who won that year, but it was cool to watch them guys. Travis Benjamin was good. He was always really good. Get to race with him a couple times this year, and basically watching the guys that you grew up racing the guys that you grew up watching. It was it's so fun to race against them and battle side by side with them.
Yeah. Ryan, speaking of that, I mean, how cool is that when you're out there, knowing that you're going to race with these folks and having the confidence in them and the trust in them? I mean, that's a big part of this where folks don't realize we as racers, we have to trust each other on the racetrack. When you're going to get out there and you're going to be wheel to wheel and diving into the corner, knowing and hoping that they're going to do the right thing. Because I know in the South, it's not so much that way.
Little rough down the Mason-Dixon line, yeah.
Yeah, knowing that you're racing with these guys that are going to treat you the right way, man. That's got to be a pretty good feeling. Shit happens. That's the best way that I can say it. But man, it's got to be pretty comfortable racing with great folks like that up there.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is watching them growing up, I knew how most of those guys raced, and a lot of them guys were really, really clean, so I knew they'd be good to me. And if I was underneath them, they wouldn't try to chop me. And especially the last race of the year, really, a lot of guys showed a ton of respect. I mean, I wouldn't even make a move sometime, and they'd just let me go. I'm like, he didn't need to do that. But I think Joey Cole did that. I just peeked the nose, and I wasn't there. I was going to back out of it, and he just went up the track, let me go. I'm like, man, you didn't have to do that. You could have raced me for it. I'm like, but that's just the respect of the series, and Joey Cole especially has been one of my favorite guys to race against all year. We've been really good all season, and I respect him a lot, and basically all the past guys a lot. But you know what you're going to be up against when you race against them. But I mean, a lot of them are clean.
Sure.
So, despite the fact we talk about it being rough down south, any chance we'll see you down south in a couple of weeks for the Snowball Derby weekend?
Man, we were gonna, but unfortunately, we won't have a car ready in time. But I mean, always seeking sponsorship, which would be huge. But
that could fix that.
No, we'll make some phone calls and see what's out there. But as of right now, we won't be there. But would love to some year. I've been trying to get down for the last couple of years, just hasn't really worked out in our favor. But someday we'll be down there. Hopefully the following year, and get to race with some of them guys.
Yep.
It's an addicting race, like not only for the drivers but the fans. Like once you go 1 year, it's hard to not go back the next year because you get to see everybody and race with the best of the late model world, both pro late models and super late models. You may just come down just to experience it and then bring your car next year.
Yeah, I've never actually seen the racetrack in real life, but I've ran about 1 million laps there on iRacing. But probably actually going to do that after this. I got to host an iRacing test and test with my buddies for an iRacing race coming up at Five Flags. But
nice.
I'd love to get down there 1 year, man. It's such a cool event. It's the biggest. It's the Daytona 500, a short track race, and it's an unbelievable event. I watch it online every year on Racing America, and such a cool race. But man, would love to go down there. I'd definitely be at New Smyrna for Speed Week.
Yeah,
but
Speed Week. That's right.
Would love to be at Five Flags. That would be.
It's coming up.
Man, that'd be fun.
The best way I describe the Derby is that the T-shirts all have the event winners on it, and that you want your name on that T-shirt almost as much as you like having your name on your own T-shirts and showing you won the Tom Dawson Trophy. That's the way I describe the Derby because it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a cool event. They do so much down there. Like even driver introductions. It's like one of the most badass things I've ever seen. It's like, man, that's cool. Even like interviewing every single driver that's on the grid. That's just insane.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, it's a big deal, and the whole thing is, I mean, that's where the more that I've learned from our man Phil Whipple, like with the 250, it's like, well, shit, that right there, that's like the Super Bowl being up north. I mean, you've got, and then you got the All American 400. I mean, there's so many races. I mean, the good thing is that all of you guys in these super late models, I mean, you entertain us, and I know we've got NASCAR and all this bullshit, whatever it is. But the fact that we have you guys more on a I hate to say regional, but you guys entertain us, and you guys each and every time that you do a 250 or a snowball or a All-American 400, you guys give us a Super Bowl, and it's all of you that really keep it real, and that's where, as regular real race fans, it's you folks that keep it real, dude. And congratulations on winning a past tour championship right there, dude. That right there, that is a big ass deal.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's a big deal. It wouldn't be possible without the sponsors and the crew and all the guys putting effort in every week, getting the car to the racetrack.
For sure, yeah.
Getting as fast as it can be, and but it's been one incredible season. I've learned so much this year about the cars and everything else, all the technology, and I mean, we do all of our work in house, and it's just used to be just me and my dad in the garage all day, every day, and our crew guy Tim would come out later at night and help us. But it was a big family operation, family win, family championship. Couldn't do it without all the hardware.
Yep, makes it even better. Makes it even better when you say it that way, my friend.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, dude. Let's do this again soon as we start moving forward into 2023. Let us know what you're doing, and we'll promote the hell out of it, dude. Thanks for checking. Thanks for checking in once again, my friend.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
You got it, man. Take care.
Take care, man.
You got it right there, Ryan Kuhn, in that 2022 pass. And that's the thing, we talk about Southern Super Series and SRL and all that, but man, the folks up north, and I always love when the North guys come on, when they start talking about, I mean, imagine that you're racing, you race up to Joey Poll that's been on this show before, and he's like,
yeah, well,
go do your thing.
They realize when somebody's faster, they don't try to fight, they don't try to hold up.
I know.
A lot of those guys, especially on the past tour, you don't see a lot of big wrecks. I mean, like you said, shit happens on occasion.
Sure.
At any racetrack during any race. But I mean, for the most part, those guys are clean. And, it's so neat. Some of the guys down south want to run the Oxford 250. And it's cool despite how damn far it is to go from Maine all the way down to Pensacola. Those guys really want to come to the Derby, and it's expensive to get down there. Hell, it's expensive to get over there from Texas, much less try to tow a race car trailer and a hauler all the way down from Maine to Pensacola.
And you know what's so funny? Every time we talk to one of the guys from up north, when they talk about the respect that they have for each other, when you talk to folks that go, that travel, it's like, folks come down south and it's like, oh, the Texans, whatever, everybody's so cordial, everybody's so whatever, and a lot of people, it's like, I went to New York and man, those people were assholes or whatever. It's like the complete opposite when it comes to the racing part, because it's like the Northerners are more I don't know,
nicer.
Well, I don't know if it's that respective when it comes to stuff like that. But I think that's the difference to where when it comes to the stuff down south is that we've got all the teams that great example, like Kuhn was talking about. He and his family work on that car. And I think that's the difference. There are so many people up north to where, with Eddie McDonald and all these guys, I mean, DJ Shaw, Johnny Clark, they're still more of a family-based team to where they're the ones working on this stuff, to where up here, we've gotten to where it's
not as much of a buy ride up there as it is down here.
Right. And I think that's the big difference. So I'm always intrigued with that because, when it is. When I talk to folks, I went up north and they were all buttholes. I'm like, oh, every northern racer I talk to say that everybody's pretty cool when they get on the racetrack. So anyway, just cool stuff. Speaking of snowball, so it is going to be an interesting year with this because I'm not going to say a name, but a certain somebody's not going to be there that tends to make things complicated. Not complicated. Fair by the book, and that's going to be a spot to figure out. So obviously this Friday is going to be the Miss Snowball tournament or pageant.
It's not a tournament. It's a pageant.
I told my friends at Racing America that I was available, and they're like, no response. But so far, what I've seen for the Snowball, you've got 56 entries right now on November 14th. That's pretty damn good. That's a lot of entrants. 14 for that. For the Flake, you got 46. For the Outlaws, you got 20.
And then it'll be double. The Outlaw race will be double that by the time you get some of the sportsmen from Florida and Wheelman stuff.
I would hope. I would hope that's what's going to happen there. That's one thing that I realized over there is, and like when it comes to trucks, I mean, they've got 10 trucks that are entered, and that's where everything is so, between Montgomery, Mobile, Pensacola, all those tracks. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. But anyway, that's where they all need to work together, or we all need to work together, and even incorporate Texas. If there's going to be a Texas track, I mean, try to figure that in there as well. But so all of that coming up. So we are into that. It is Snowball Preview Weekend coming up. And I think that this year's Snowball is going to be something where not only, racing for the win, $10,000
for the rookie.
I'm not the biggest fan of that, to be honest.
You don't like the $10,000 rookie award?
No. You know what that's going to cause?
Well, I mean, it's going to cause chaos.
It's going to cause more fucking wrecks.
Yeah, it's going to cause a lot of chaos for sure.
Yeah. And in that race, I'm not all about chaos. I mean, I know. Because there are so many guys that go out there, and we know a lot of these guys. I mean, that go out there and they build their whole year around going to that race, and to go out there and get tore up, we'll talk about it later as we get closer. But I think it's a great program, but I would have rather seen them put that $10,000 into the winner. I mean, because that's a bad thing about that race. That is such an underpaid race for what it takes
what it is
to do that. Yeah, but
$20K to win, right? Or is it 30 now?
I think it's I don't know.
Maybe if they get bonuses, I think it's closer to 30. But I want to say it's $20K to win.
It should be a lot more, but at the same time, that's where it's kind of
somehow the dirt cars managed to make that happen.
It's kind of outgrown its whole thing right there to where, but they still show up, man. They still show up, and it's going to be packed, and that's going to be great. And we'll begin to preview that as we get closer. And yeah, good stuff. But the big thing this weekend, and I'm glad Owen checked in, and that was totally last minute. I'm glad he is so good at being on the ball. Look at that purse. That right there is going to be a massive show. I know weather's going to be a factor.
Looks like it may have some precipitation that Saturday morning, but
Yeah.
I think they'll be able to work something out on that deal.
Yeah. And like he said, it's going to happen. That's the main thing. When he says it's going to happen, I am very confident that there's going to be a way to get this done. I mean, like he said, we just saw the 24 hours of 105. So I hope that's not what's going to happen for your sake. But
I'm staying close this time.
Yeah. Hopefully that all pans out and they get that show in, because I really think that between the factories and the limited modifieds and the pure stocks, because I know the one race that I ran up there, they did, I think it was 1,000 to win.
1,250 to win, I think is what it ended up.
Yeah, we had 25 or 24, 25. So I think that that's going to be really cool. So that's going to be a good show. And for Cord, mainly for me, for Cord and all of those folks that work on that racetrack, I hope they get that in. I hope y'all get that in.
It'll be a challenge, but hell, a challenge is what it's all about. It makes it more rewarding.
Shit, yeah, man. That is what it's all about. All about. Great program. Thank you, Phil Whipple, for checking in. Getting us all primed up right there with all his northern euphemisms and all that good stuff that he gets us primed up for. Chris Hennigan, congratulations on being the 2022 Revved Up Sports Show Race on Texas Touring Driver of the Year. Ryan Kuhn from way up north checking in way down south. That's always the coolest part.
That's fun. That's fun. That's fun with those guys up there.
It's like a dude way up there checking way down here. That's good stuff. Go to Texana. Check out Texana Raceway Park on Facebook. They'll keep you updated with everything going on. We will as well on our page. Race on Texas. All that good stuff. Rest of the week, dude. What you got going on?
Just trying to play catch up before I leave for Texana on Friday.
Nice. Good stuff. You guys be well. Stay warm. We're back next Monday. #Real Race Talk from Texas.